church leaders are having to rethink ministry with the country grappling with the coronavirus pandemic and a multitude of restrictions. Wheaton College's Billy Graham Center, Humanitarian Disaster Institute and Saddleback Church's Peace Plan have collaborated to offer a website full of resources. It's called Coronavirus and the Church. Ed Stenser with Wheaton College joins me now for more. So, Ed, what is it like for church leaders unable to meet freely with people because of all these health concerns?
Yeah, it is unprecedented, George. We haven't seen anything like this. Even in the 1919 Spanish flu pandemic, we didn't see things like this. And I think, with good health reasons, we understand, but it's causing church leaders, they paused right now, and they're creating new systems and new structures. Then the next phase, I think, is they got to prepare, because you got to remember we're at the beginning of this crisis, not the end of this crisis. Then we're going to have to engage the crisis as followers of Jesus have done for 2,000 years. And then we'll reemerge from that crisis, as has happened on multiple occasions as the church has walked through pandemics before.
Yeah. What are church leaders encouraging people in ministry to do? What are you encouraging folks to do?
Well, we launched coronavirusandthechurch.com with, you mentioned Saddleback's Peace Plan, the Humanitarian Disaster Institute, and the Billy Graham Center. So coronavirusandthechurch.com is a kind of a hub, a one-stop shop for resources, manuals, what to do now, how to respond, how to move your church online, what are best practices, and more. And we've also launched a podcast, Leadership in the Coronavirus Crisis, that's available right there on that site as well. And we've already, in the last 2 days, we recorded 14 episodes from a house church expert explain to churches how to go to small groups. We think this size 10 is maybe a couple of weeks, and then we might be back to 25 or 30. So what does it look like for all of us to be in a different kind of church community? We've asked a constitutional scholar, a law expert, about how do we respond to bans on meeting and more. And so we're trying to provide immediate, helpful, thoughtful, and quality, not so much information going on Facebook and Twitter. Please, please, please go to reputable sources. This is an important, serious time. We need to have important, serious sources to help us make the right decisions.
Yeah. Are these, Ed, in your mind, some of the creative ways that you're seeing churches respond to the needs of parishioners?
Yeah, I think phase one creative way is the online, and of course, then sometimes meeting in smaller groups. So I had 4 pastors on the podcast who one of them talked about 20 by 20. They had 400 people in their church. So now they have 20 groups of less than 20. Well, since that time, it's been down to 10. So now they're going to have a new plan where it's you and another family. And that probably, again, we're not going to be at 10. President Trump has said for 2 weeks, 15 days. So we have to see what goes on from there. So innovation is right now going on in churches that maybe never thought of innovation before. That pastor of that, solo pastor or bivocational pastor who's sitting with a laptop doing a Facebook Live, wearing a shirt and maybe pajama pants, because all of a sudden we can't gather together. There's going to be more of that. But remember, this crisis just now is a crisis of meeting. We're about to have a crisis of mortality. And we're going to see, the CDC estimates of between 200,000 and 1.7 million Americans lose their lives. So we've got about 2 to 3 weeks, maybe more if we flatten the curve, to prepare ourselves. So we're pausing, we're innovating, but let's start preparing so we can engage that crisis as Christians have done for 2,000 years, showing and sharing the love of Jesus.
Real quickly, last few seconds, in the midst of all this picture that you have mentioned, there is fear and uncertainty about the future. What is your hope for the church at this time?
Well, I've read the end of the book, Jesus Wins. I have an article coming out in USA Today talking about the masks are coming down. Christians, who a lot of people maybe have not understood well or maybe misunderstood the last few years, are about to gather together, the church to rise up, to show and share the love of Jesus in the midst of this pandemic, so that when this is through, just like Eusebius said about the 4th century plagues, the praise of the God of the Christians was on everyone's lips. Here we are, Lord, send us.
Yeah, okay, terrific. Good word. Ed, always great to have you back on the show. Appreciate it. Ed Stetzer with Wheaton